Hi everyone, it's Leanne. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. It's not too cold, not too hot. It's just perfect weather, coolish weather. Um, and I thought I'd practice some line drawing, yes, and show you how I'm doing it. With all my mistakes, warts and all. Now, it's best to, when you use some book page, it's best to put a few down because it gives it a thickness and it doesn't cut through that way or cut the paper. Now, I'm going to draw an English rose, or attempt. I'm no drawer, but I'm going to attempt to line draw. So, I'm going to start off here. And I'm just going to hard to see. And I don't know why I'm drawing it over there. I'm going to change this paper. I'm going to go to some vintage paper. Here's some vintage paper. And I'm going to start here. Only because I can't see today. My eyes are getting pretty bad. Okay, let's leave it like that for the time being. Let's see how we go. Right. Right. Okay. Let's see how we go continuing on. Not sure if I'm going okay. But we'll see. Right. Now, with this, let me see. Something like that. Like that. Right. Need them to curve around, so the rose petals. Right. I think that's about right. Let me just see if I can fix these up a little more. Like they're pebbles, you know what I mean, wrapped up. Yeah. Maybe something like that. Yep, I like that. Okay, so that's what I've done. An English rose. There we go. I am going to cut that out. I only wanted a certain length and height. You can cut the individual flower out, but paint it first. It's easier. Okay, so we've done that. So I can get up closer for you now. There it is there. And now I'm going to attempt to paint it. Ooh, no, not the dreaded painting. Okay, I'm just going to use some water crowns and roses. Well, you think of roses being red, don't you? So let's see if I have got a red or pink. I don't have a pink. Alright, so we're going to use a red. Oops, I've got to scratch. I have to scratch. There we go. So let's give it some red there. And, oops, some green, I would assume. Yep. And for the stem, I think we'll give it some brown. There we go. I'm also going to put in my dryer, but I will dry it off camera because I don't want to hold you up. I'm going to use our water brush again, and I need some wet wipes. Now see, I'm going to have to go get them. They're important. Be right back. Okay, I've returned. Let's start on this. I'm going to put a few drops of water with the red, and I'm going to attempt to colour it in. But right. Okay, move your work around to get the easiest angle for yourself. Okay. Okay, so that's a start. Now I'm going to use some more darker red for these little bits here. They're just some darker ones, colours. Okay. Use a bit darker red around the bottom here. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay. I'm going to use a darker red around just this base here, just to put those lines in. When I say darker, I mean I'm painting it in a darker red, meaning I'm not putting it in the water. I'm using the full red colour. So I'm using outside of where I didn't put the water on the real red there. So that's all I'm doing, right on the edges. And then you let it dry a little bit, and then you go over it again. And that's what you come up with. Pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to put some red off this and continue on. Right, let's do our leaves. To get a nice green. Now don't forget these are watercolor crayons, so you know they don't have to look dark like they're painted in. It can look as translucent as you want it, or as dark as you want it. So they've got right, so that's not too bad. Let's continue on with the stem now. And we'll do some brown. Just a little. Okay. And just go around the edges with the brown. Around that knuckle a bit darker. Maybe at the top. Just a different shade of brown so it looks a bit more authentic. Something like that. Okay, so that's what we've done. I'm going to use a bit of that green just to put some grass there, like that. There we go, something like that. Okay, and that's all I've done. Nothing too artistic, just, you know, and I'm just seeing something I want to change. So all I'm doing is getting a darker color red, which is on the outside, and I'm coming around the rose there, like that. Just wanted to darken that up a little bit. There. And I'm just going to, now I don't really care about the pencil marks, really not that worrying to me. If they worry you, when you dry it out, yep, just rub it out. Okay, that's it. That's my English rose. And I am going to also write that name down. Okay, so I'm just going to put my pen down. I'm going to get a pen, this one here, and I'm going to write down English rose. There we go, English rose. Now, I don't like my own writing that much, but I'll accept it. If you know what I mean. Okay, so there's my English row. So that was good. That was fun. That's going to our next junk journal page. And now I will dry it in a moment. But let's draw something else. Let's draw... Oh, well, I have drawn one of them before. Actually, I'm going to dry that and then I'm going to be right back. Okay, we've resumed. And I'm going to attempt to draw a begonia. Yes, a begonia. Let me just cut some of this paper out. Okay, well, this is vintage paper, so let's start. Let's start with a dot. And then let's use that dot as an end. And we'll go round like that. Then we'll go around. Ugh, let me just see. How about one just here? And then how about one just here? Right. Whew. Then how about one just here? And here. And then here. And maybe one there. No, don't like that one there. Have to change that, I think. One there. Yep, okay, and then we'll, damn it. Alright, so we'll do one just here. Okay, then one just here. And then another just there. Yep, that'll do. Right, and then we'll do another one there. Then another one here. Maybe another one here. And another one here. Yeah, I don't mind that. Okay, then we're going to put out a stem. And one leaf, I think. Yep. Right, so there, that's what I've got. Not sure whether that looks like, what that looks like. I'll give it a shorter stem. Don't like the longness of it, so we'll just go to there. Yep. That looks a little bit better. We'll go one. Yep, I'll be happy with that, I think. Let me just see here. Yeah, that's probably okay. Okay. So there we go. It's a begonia. So begonias, I'm not sure what colour they are. But nonetheless, let's start with the brown. It's still there, the brown. Right. Let's get out water brush. Let's give it a greenish leaf. There we go. And I suppose we'll have to use the red. And we're going to have to chill out on all these little bits and pieces, but we can draw them in, so I'll just colour it in for the time being. Like that. And then we can start pulling out the red, the deeper reds, and start going around our lines. Like that. So I'm just concentrating at the moment. Something like that, something very similar to that. See how the red is light, and then I've just coloured it in with a little bit of dark red. Gosh, you can't get that on focus, can you? Let me see if I can. Right, there we go. Yep. Yes, so I can do a tiny bit more. Just around the edges. Okay, so I think I'll leave it at that. But I will also get a black and do the middle dot black. Okay, so let's just do that. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, except I'm going to put some green grass around. A bit like that. So that's what I've done. I've done a begonia. Let's clean up our brush. Let's get, excuse me, I might cut this down a little bit more, but I'm going to begonia, A on the end. There we go. LP 2019. There we go. Okay. So that's what we've done. There's the begonia. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a heat. Okay, and that's it. So there you go. There's the two line drawings, the begonia and the English rose. Right. Okay, so we'll put that up there. I'm going to cut this a little bit better than it is. I'm not too... Actually, I might cut it. Tear it, in other words. I don't mind that look of being torn. Okay. Right. Might tear this a tiny bit more as well. Like that. And that'll do, I think. So there's our two little line drawing roses and a begonia for our junk journal. Now, I really enjoyed making them. So, where's our book? Oh, it's right over here. So, our next page that we'll do is, but I'm going to do a double page this time. And, oh my gosh, how many pages do we have left? Well, a few. And this book's going to be huge. And I'm going to give this junk journal away as well. So, I don't know who to yet. But I'll have something. And, so that's where we'll put those in. Now, I'm just going to continue on with pages, Liam. Where's the pages? Right. I might use this. It's pretty dark. And I might use this black one. I particularly like this one. Here it is. Sorry about that. I couldn't get to it quick enough. Okay, you know what I've forgotten? I've forgotten what I wanted to use and show you. So I'll be right back. Hi everyone, it's Leanne and I am back and I am making some envelopes. Now this is very vintage paper and I have made a envelope, a 6.5 by 6.5 inch, and I've also made its little card. Now I'm only making some envelopes for my junk journal, but we will decorate these envelopes when I make them in the next video. So I'm going to put them over there so we can do them. Now what I'm doing is 6 by 6 inch. No, I lie. 6.5 by 6.5. So we have to cut some paper. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut some paper. Let me just get rid of these. These are in the way. Right. So we're going to cut 6.5. We'll keep this for our paper to put inside by 6.5. Now this paper here is a bit like rusty old paper. It's vintage, but it looks like rust, and I love it. It's quite nice. Okay, let's do some more. Let's do some gardening paper as well. Envelopes. So we're going to do 6.5. Let me put that up there. 6.5 by 6.5. Okay, so I've got a little bit of paper left for that envelope as well. Let's do some graph paper. Here's some here. 6.5 by 6.5. Now these are a great size, actually, 6.5 by 6.5 envelopes. There's some for our envelope. Yeah, so these are a really good size, as I said. I like this size. They're easy to handle, they're easy to make up, they're easy to decorate. They're just easy, full stop. Now what else have I got there? Well, let's do one more gardening. Only because I love this paper. think I'll turn it over and cut that side. 6.5 by 6.5. Okay, that'll do. We'll make them up. And we'll cut the paper out, its paper out shortly. But let me just remove them to there. Okay, so let's now bring in, there's our paper, let's bring in our envelope fold, whatever you want to call it. What do we call it? Envelope board. And let's start with this. I love this paper. This greyish dark, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a burnt paper. It's a vintage paper. Okay, so we're going to do our score line at 2 3/4. Yes, 2 3/4. So what you do is you put it on your little board, and here are the inches and centimeters here, and you do it at 2 3/4. So you find where 2 3/4 is. It's right there. Push your paper up, and this score line here, you put your knife into the hole, and then you just score it like that on that score line. It's plastic, and then you punch 1. Then you turn it around anti-clockwise, put it back in, and where you just drew your line there, you scored it here, remember, you put that on that little line there, and I will show you that line. See that little plastic bit there? That line you just did, you put that just under it, so that point is sitting on that line, so you can score it this way. So all you're doing is lining up that score line with that little plastic bit there. Okay, it's very simple. So you've lined it up. Now let's draw another score line and punch. Anti-clockwise again. Line up your line. That line you just did, that you score lined there. Line it up again. Make sure your paper's flat. And you've lined it up, and then you do your other score. Oops, your other score line again. Punch. Now that punch cuts the little holes. Now we're going to line up the last score line, which is there. We're going to do another new score line and then punch it. That's it. Okay, let's see how we went. We've got all these little bits and pieces that come out from the envelope. All we're going to do now is fold on those lines we just did. Go around, fold them, just like that. Very simple. Last one. Like that. Okay, so we know the big ones are the top and bottom, and the little ones are to the side. So we put the sides in, bring up the bottom. Okay, there's the form of your envelope. Now what I did is I got my scissors and went along that line, so when it connected with the side bit there and there, right on those edges, that edge there and that edge there, I cut that off in line with it. So put my scissors on that line, cut, and you get a perfect straight little line. So simple, so easy. Now I am going to glue it with this Super Tack glue, and I'm going right round the edge line there and edge line here. Edge line here and edge line there. Just very simple. Fold it over, fold it down. And there we go. That was simple, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. Especially when you've got one of those boards. Right, I'm just going to put my needle in if I can. And I have. Okay, so we've got our envelope. Just going to put my scissors in so it's not stuck. Nope, it's not stuck. It's perfect. Now we want to round off this corner here. So we get our machine or our board. We turn it around on the back here. There's another punch hole. Scorer. This button here. All you do is you put your envelope in just like that. See? And it cuts off the edge. So let's try that now. Let's put it in. And there, it's rounded that off. And then there's our envelope. Isn't that perfect? Oh, I love making these. They're so good. Okay. Where did we put our other one? Here it is. Now this colour here is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You could use that for steampunk. You could use that as a very old vintage book page. Put it in a very, you know, vintage style book that you make or whatever. But it is a very nice colour. I love that one. I didn't think I would like it because I didn't know what could I use that for. But on an envelope, it is perfect. Okay, so let's get our paper for that. We want to make a card to go in it, and the cards are 3 inch. Let's move that out of the way. 3 inch by 4.5. So let's do 4.5 first. There's 4.5 there. About there. So 4.5 by 3 inch. So that's 4.5. Let me just have a check again. No. So that must be 4.5. Yeah. 4.5 by 3. Got mixed up there for a sec. No probs. There we go. So let's see if this fits into our envelope. Now I'm going to strengthen that with some cardstock on the back, but I just want to make them for the envelopes today, and then in the next video we'll do all of that. Now, there we go. Beautifully fits in. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, that fell off. Put it back on. It's always falling off. I should really glue that in, shouldn't I? But not today. I'm too buggered to be worried about anything today. There we go. Okay, so there's our 2 envelopes. Let's do the rest. If I can find them. Where'd I put them? Let me just see. I must have put them back under here. Yeah, I have. Silly girl, Leanne. Right, so let's do the graph one. So we want that at 6.5 by 6.5. We want it at 2 3/4, 2 3/4. So here you go 2 and then come up to 3/4, and it's about there. And all you do is you draw your line, your score line, and punch. Turn it anti-clockwise and put that score line on that score line there, like that. You do another score line and then you clip it. Anti-clockwise again, put your score line on that plastic sharp little thing. Well, not punch it yet. Score line, then punch. Go back to your score line on that plastic thing. Do your next one, punch. Right, let's do a few more while we're here so we don't have to actually keep going backwards and forwards. Right. Scoreline. Punch. Scoreline. Punch. Oops. This paper broke. That's interesting. Let me see. Oops. Punch. I'm breaking it. It's more delicate than I thought it was. Okay, let me just see if I can get it and do it softer. Right, we'll try that one. Not sure if it'll work. Right, let's get our rusty paper, 2 3/4 again. Draw our score line, punch. Put that on the score line. Do another score line, punch. Turn it around anti-clockwise. Score line. If I can see where it is. Yeah. Right. Punch. Last one. Score line. Score line. Punch. Let's try this last gardening one. And if it tears, well, we won't use it. Punch. It's tearing a tiny bit. Score line. Punch. 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 Okay. Now this goes in the edge here. You just put it in. And that's as simple as it is. Now I've got all these punches here. I'm going to have to get rid of. I'm just going to flick it on the floor like we all do. Let's move that out of the way. Back over there. Now let's see if we can do our beautiful garden paper. Right, let's do the sides. Which side do we want front? Yeah, that one's a nice one. Let's fold it. Fold it. Now it is a little bit teary, and so it's very fragile, so I'm going to be very careful with it. There, we managed to do that. Let's see what the front looks like. Front's not too bad. Okay, so what we do then is, what did I do? Cut from edge to edge, didn't I? Just like that. Let's glue it. Okay, let's put it down. Right. Right, so that's all glued. Now we want to punch that, so I'm just going to leave it there until we do the rest. So let's do our sides. Let's do our top and bottom. Like that. Let's cut it. Okay. Nope, I didn't do that right. Let me do it again. Yep, that's it. Let's glue it. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to clear the envelope. Alright, that's perfect. So I'll leave that there till we do the next one. Right, that's the top and bottom. I should have done the sides first, and I think I'll put this on the inside and use the other side. Now, although this tore through the paper a bit, it didn't completely break it, so I'm happy about that, except there it's a little bit fringy, but that's okay. Let me see what's up. Right, we'll do it this way. Okay, perfect. Okay, it's a little bit torn on one or two of the edges, but it's fine. It can be used. It's not too bad. I don't mind it being like that. That's not a problem. Okay, let's do our sides and our tops and the bottoms. Alright, let's do this. Perfect. Now let's put some glue on it. Let's glue it down. And there we go. Okay. Now let's chop it again. Let's turn this around. I'm just going to put the lid on this because we don't need it again, and I don't want it to dry out. There we go. Alright, so let's now cut the top of our envelope. Beautiful. There's one. This is a bit fragile, so we'll be careful. 2. Let's do a rusty one. 3. Let's do another gardening one. Right, and that's it. Okay, there's our envelopes. So I'm going to put this down now. I'm going to get back our cutter and we can cut our paper for our envelope to go inside. So it is 3 by 4.5. Alright, 4.5. It's about there. I'm going to keep these 4 by 3, 4.5 by 3. So let's do that. Let's put it in our envelope, see if it works. And it does perfectly like that. So that's another one down. Okay, let's do this gardening one. So let's now see if we've got any paper from the gardening. Yes. So we'll do 4.5 first. By 3. Okay. Let's get our envelope. There it is there. Might have to put some washi on that. Had to lay it flat before I could do it. So see how it's bent a bit there, just here. It's torn. We can put some washi tape on the inside and outside and that will be perfectly fine. Okay, we need some rusty paper now. Let's do 4.5. By 3. There we go, and let's put it in our envelope. Goes like that. Beautiful. And we've got one more gardening paper. Let's see if I've got any more. Ah, yes, here's some. Let's do 4.5 by 3. Let's do it this way. By 3. About that. Okay. And let's put that away in our envelope as well. There we go. Okay. Let's put that down. So I've got our envelopes with the paper inside. That one there as well. And that one, the gardening one. Got this beautiful black one, which I love. And this beautiful rusty one as well, vintage paper as well. So there's all our envelopes. Very simple to make with those boards, aren't they? And you can use any paper you like. Any paper. Doesn't matter what sort of paper it is. So next video we will actually decorate the cards. Not so much the envelope, but the cards itself. So until I see you next time, bye for now.